Welcome everyone to Clear Vision Wednesday. My name is Trisha Kirby. I work with Claudia Mirlemig on her team. I am a holistic vision and intuitive coach. And today we have a special show for you. I am guest hosting and I have a special guest for us, one of our certification students. So we have a vision certification program that is training our vision students to be vision coaches in the holistic Bates vision method and all of the other things that Claudia teaches, which is this large scope of holistic vision methods and modalities and practices. And today I'm going to be bringing on, in just a moment, our vision student, certification student, Mila Casey. And while each of our certification students has an absolutely wonderful background and they bring unique things to their practices, they're coaches and some of them have incredible health backgrounds. But Mila's different because Mila is an eye doctor. Like she has actually worked as an eye doctor. So she has a very unique perspective that she is bringing into this. And we are so excited. And we feel so blessed that she's part of this foundational training group that Claudia is running. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on to talk about to talk about being an eye doctor, to talk about the transition over into holistic vision and nutrition and coaching and now the Bates method. And I would love if you would actually introduce how you got into vision, like what was your interest in that drew you into becoming an eye doctor, Mila? And you have a presentation for everyone today, so I can't wait to see this. And if anyone has any questions on YouTube, please post them in the comments on YouTube. And at the end of the presentation, we will go through those as well. So I would like to welcome Mila. Hold on one moment. Let me add spotlight. Bring you on. Welcome. So nice to see you. All right. So before you start your presentation officially, give us a little background, like what brought you into what made you decide to become an eye doctor in the first place? And then what brought you into sort of the holistic vision field?
Yes, I actually chose my specialty after, in medical school. I did like ophthalmology. I liked the course. It's usually, you take several courses in medical school. So I liked it. I was lucky that I chosen what I preferred. And so yes, as you mentioned, I went to medical school. I finished residency in ophthalmology, and I practiced for around 13 years in Russia, on and off. So I'll tell my story more in the slides. But yes, I went through like immigration. So I got married and I moved from Russia to the US. So that's through this like period of life, I started having my health issues. I was always interested in nutrition, so I started researching, and that's how I came to studying nutrition. So, and holistic health. So I helped myself. I almost diagnosed myself, and like I cured, yeah, all the symptoms. So, um, but working in wellness, health and wellness, after several years, much later, I discovered Bates method, and I actually saw Claudia on this channel, like being interviewed, maybe different channel, but Claudia was interviewed, and I researched that and I looked her up, and that's how I came. Yes, I found the community of vision educators. So I'm very happy. I was so surprised that I didn't know about this. Yes, Bates Natural Vision Improvement Method. It's all came together. It's like a circle of life almost. It brought me back to vision, back to improving the vision in natural way. And it's just, I'm still very excited about that.
I love it because it's almost like there was a silver lining in having suffered through health issues that you had to
Yes,
find. You were almost forced to find a holistic path, and then
I
you
know.
wove your way back around to vision and found the holistic path in vision as
Yes.
well. Yeah, that's probably a bigger miracle right there. All right, I know you have a presentation, and without further, I know it's late for you. You are in Turkey right now, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you're living in Turkey. All right, so it's like 10 o'clock at night for you. So thank you for being on the call so late. We really appreciate our European
No, I'm
membership.
excited. So adrenaline helps to keep me awake, and yes, always happy to share.
Okay, so I am going to remove my spotlight and then you are welcome, and I'll mute myself, but I'll still be here and you're welcome to share.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to share my slides here with you. And all right. So everybody, just give me thumbs up. It's good, right? You see
You're
my
perfect.
slides?
Yes, you're
Yeah,
perfect.
okay, great. Okay. Um, so I hope it works. And right. Okay. So my story, I already told my story, right? So this is just like a bullet point of what I explained to you. So I immigrated after practicing ophthalmology, being a doctor. So in the new country, I wanted to work. So I wanted to do something. So I found this part-time job. Our children were very young. And so I needed a job. So I went to work for optical shop. And of course, they were happy to have me. It was a great family owned, it is still a great family owned shop that where I ended up uh, working. And during these, first 2 years, health issues, then I studied nutrition, got nutrition certification, and became a health coach. So a health coach, and then several certification later, I found the Wellness Forum Health Institute. I studied there, became an affiliate, and I became a health educator. So I have several certifications, but now I can call myself health and vision educator because I discovered, of course, Bates method. So even though I'm a medical doctor, I want to give you a disclaimer that I cannot give you any medical advice, and you have to address all your health issues with your healthcare professional or with your eye doctor. All right. So as I mentioned, nutrition is my first passion. So I was always keeping an eye on nutrition all my life. So even in high school. So unfortunately, in medical school, nutrition course was very limited. We had just several hours. But of course, I I studied myself. After much later, I of course discovered this nutrition certification. But in medical school, we did learn the importance of certain vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, right? And we all know that it's like a limit. And of course, you probably, many of you heard the important antioxidants like lutein, zeaxanthin that are critical for eye health. They actually, the high concentration of these antioxidants are in the macula, inside of our eye, and they're very protective for our eyes. So that's a little slide. That's where they concentrated, right in the center. They accumulate in the retina in this spot. So they're very protective. They absorb like a harmful blue light, and they even prevent certain irreversible eye diseases. And where can they be found? They can be found actually naturally in leafy greens vegetables, and which is the highest concentration of these powerful carotenoids. So they belong to a group of these xanthophyll oxygen-containing carotenoids. Um, and it's probably well known to many of you, or maybe not, that anthocyanins, the other very important group of antioxidants that critical for eye health. And so the highest concentration of them are in bilberries or wild blueberries. So it's important to know that there is place for supplements, but you have to be very careful with the supplements, of course. And studies actually emphasize that the safety of taking supplements until the efficacy is confirmed, the safety is unknown. So it's much safer to include into your diet naturally containing fruit and vegetables, right? Full of these uh, antioxidants. So I want to show you this. It's an old diagram, old slide from 1998 from USDA. Um, so you can see that in a cup of, it's like per cup measure, how much of this antioxidants are in kale. And we were always told that, it's carrot, you have to eat carrots. Carrots are good for your eyes, but you can see how much it's much lower contents of these carotenoids in carrots than in kale. So kale is kind of a champion of this lutein and zeaxanthin content. And of course, many fruit and vegetables contain also these antioxidants. Okay, so back to health. I want to remind you that about our humans, our circulatory system, cardiovascular system. And this slide shows you our circulatory system. And of course, the center of this it's the heart. And the heart pumps the blood to all the very important organs all over the body, right? So the healthy cardiovascular system, it's simple as that, equals healthy body. So what is good for our heart is also good for our eyes. So everything is connected to everything, right? So impaired circulation causes the dysfunction of the organ all over the body, whatever it is. And it could be in different locations. So what causes impaired circulation? It's, of course, you've heard about atherosclerosis. So these are the plaques that form in our arteries, right? So, and it's caused by inflammation and bad diet, and we'll talk about it later. So any organ can be affected, whether it's a heart, whether it's a heart attack, whether it's a stroke, right? And of course, it can be diagnosed by angiography, certain tests. Hypertension, right? High blood pressure is also caused by this. And I was very surprised to find out that erectile dysfunction is the earliest sign of the heart disease. So please be aware of our man. This is very important sign. So heart attack, unfortunately, this is also the result of this disease, right? And it could be back pain, neck pain, all the, if you think about impaired circulation, it could be in any part of our body, headaches, and of course, eye disorders, right? It's all connected. If circulation is bad in certain part of our body, it could be eyes as well, right? It's macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, because eye has also the blood supply, right? And it's from one of the strongest big arteries, the internal carotid artery. And you see in the slide, it's ophthalmic artery, right? So impaired blood supply to the eye causes all can cause any eye condition, including actually refractive errors. Because if the eye muscles are poorly supplied, they're not moving the eyeball properly, and they cannot change the shape of the eye, right? So if we look at glaucoma, just these are the examples of glaucoma. So you probably heard about glaucoma. So this is it's caused by impaired eye fluid circulation, and it's caused by buildup of aqueous humor inside the eyeball. So glaucoma can happen in one or both eyes, and the measurement of the intraocular pressure is very important. So it has to be, monitored and checked, of course. And the range of the normal intraocular pressure is between 11 and 21, and it depends on the thickness of the cornea, the measurements. We'll get to that. We'll get back to that later. So unfortunately, symptoms are not noticeable. So it's actually called the silent, very blind. It blinds the many people, and one of the symptoms, of course, narrowed visual field, which also can be diagnosed by the test. And that's how glaucoma looks. That's what we see. That's what eye doctor sees when we look inside your eye, when we do the eye exam, right? So on the left, it's healthy optic nerve, and on the right, it's impaired. You see that these nerve fibers are practically damaged, really badly damaged. Okay. So next condition is cataracts, and we're talking about age-related cataracts. Of course, there is also congenital cataracts and traumatic cataract, but mostly common is the age-related cataracts, and that's what most people are diagnosed right after the age of 50, 60, and 70. So lens becomes cloudy, partly cloudy. You can see it on this slide, right? So usually it actually some conditions, such as like some health conditions, such as diabetes, people with diabetes are more prone to developing cataracts and glaucoma. I didn't mention that because of impaired circulation. Again, we're going back to that, right? So, of course, it can be because of injury or previous surgery. Um, Other factors, it could be radiation treatments, and some medication can cause that, like corticosteroids, smoking, lead exposure. And of course, as I mentioned, people with diabetes, with a high blood pressure, and people who eat a lot of processed foods, with high intake processed foods, studies show that they're prone to develop cataracts much faster. Again, we going back to healthy body, right? Healthy body and healthy organs, healthy circulations. And if we look at diabetic retinopathy, so that's how the eyes, the normal retina looks, and that's how the retina with diabetic person looks. So it's a lot of blood that it's impaired vessels but by high blood sugar, and the retina is actually has damages from this disease. Unfortunately, it can lead to the blindness. So the main preventative measure is to control diabetes. And we eye doctors are actually one of the first ones who can diagnose diabetes by looking inside the eye, the retina, including high blood pressure. We can look at the vessels and we can see the changes in the arteries and the changes right here in the retina, and we can diagnose the high blood pressure. Sometimes person is not aware of that. And even high blood pressure can lead to irreversible, hemorrhages and damages of the retina, and it can lead to lower vision or blindness as well. All right, so the next condition is age-related AMD, right, or age-related macular degeneration. This is one of the leading causes of the vision loss, and this is the statistics for the US, people over 50, with about 1 in 10 people in the US affected by this condition. So it's usually the central portion of the retina, and macula is affected and wears down. And there are different types of macular degeneration. So there is dry type and wet type. Wet type because there is more hemorrhages seen. And dry macular degeneration is more like more slower progressing. And that's what we see in the retina, and that's what person sees with this condition. This is a normal eye, right? And you can see in the central vision, there is like very cloudy, and at this type, person practically doesn't see the center, only the periphery. Okay, going back to our topic of the month is the eye exam. So I want to just explain to you what is the difference. Many people don't know the difference between ophthalmologist, optometrist, or optician. So ophthalmologist is a doctor, is MD usually, who is treating diseases conservatively and surgically. And so doing surgeries. Optometrist is a doctor of optometry. This doctor, it's OD, also treating diseases and prescribing eyeglasses, but they're not doing surgeries. So you can go to the optometrist, and they're very professional. They're very good diagnostics. They're diagnosing very well. So I know I worked with the ones, and I see that. So who is optician? Optician is the person who works in the optical shop, and he fits your lenses. He interprets the prescription of your eyeglasses prescription that you brought from the doctor. He interprets that. He orders lenses. He does all the measurements for your eyeglasses. That's who optician is, and that's the difference. And for example, I didn't know that because in Europe and in Russia, including Russia, we only have ophthalmologists and opticians. So optician person, you either go to the eye doctor, and then from the eye doctor, you go to optical shop. And that's where you order your glasses. So US is a little different. So if we look at the diopters, to understand like diopters and corrective lenses, right? I want to explain to you that actually our normal eye in a relaxed state, this is the shape of the normal eye. It has the strength, it has 60 strength diopter because it partially, like the cornea has 40 diopter strength, and crystalline lens is 20 diopter lens. And that's approximate numbers. So diopters measures optical lens power. So one diopter, and this is like on this slide, you maybe more you understand more. So one diopter is the strength of these converging light rays in a focal distance of 1 meter. It could be a little bit complicated to understand, but if you think about the window glass is flat. So window glass has 0 diopter strength. And when we like plus one lens, like one diopter lens has it's already convex. It's not flat. Convex or plus lens converge light rays. So you see this is one diopter, and it's not flat. It's already convex. And all plus lenses converge, and all minus lenses, this is on the right, all minus lenses, they diverge because so in hyperopia, when you're farsighted, your eyeball is shortened, squished. And in myopia or nearsightedness, your eyeball is elongated. So to bring the image to the retina, like in a normal eye, we need plus lens in farsightedness and minus lens, so it's diverging light rays into the retina. So that's just in short, and as I mentioned, it could be a little complicated. Okay, and this is the biggest slide of the same what I was explaining. Okay, so nearsighted, the people don't see close up, and farsighted people actually need to push away the text from you because you see the image actually too far. Your eyeball is too short to see that. Okay, now astigmatism, right? What is astigmatism? It's very it's also like almost a foreign language for many people. Astigmatism is a condition when it's the cornea has a different shape, or sometimes the eyeball is kind of, I apologize about my phone. It's shaped as a football, and the light actually doesn't fall on the retina directly. So there are different rays, different images. It creates different images. So as a result, the vision becomes blurry. It could be either with myopia or with farsightedness or nearsightedness, and that creates blurred, distort vision. And so that's how it looks on the prescription. So the first part is the sphere. It's usually plus, right? It's just like a regular single vision. And the cylinder actually shows where it is on which axis we have different strength of the lens. So that's why it's complicated. And astigmatism can be inherited it can cause, by certain eye diseases or injuries or after surgeries. but it also can be caused by poor posture, the head tilt, the neck tension, according to Dr. Bates. Now we're learning that it's like many more causes of the astigmatism. And so I'm sure you'll hear about like a good ways to improve astigmatism, and that's Claudia will be covering that as well. Okay, and it's actually my prescription. Maybe no, it's not my prescription. It's a prescription of one of my clients. And this is very simple, but that's how your prescription will look, because you have to be able to interpret that, right? So the OD is the right eye, the sphere, first number is the sphere, the cylinder shows the astigmatism. And this is the axis at which this strength of lens is like measured, right? And OS is the left eye, it's the same thing. And the ad is the reading part of the lens. Okay, and that's probably the prescription it could be for multifocal lens as well, when you see the ad. Okay, so what do you expect during eye exam? Usually, first the doctor shows your visual acuity, right? With an eye chart, you read the letters on the eye chart. Then the second part is you sit in front of the doctor with this microscope, which called slit lamp. We call slit lamp exam. So on this microscope, on the slit lamp, we examine usually these structures. We can see the cornea, we can see the iris, the colored part of the lens, and we can see the pupil, the lens. We can diagnose the cataracts as well with a slit lamp, right? So we can also look at the eye and at the eyelids, and we can diagnose the dry eye symptom or the diseases of eyelids as well, conjunctivitis, inflammation of the colored part of your eye or iris, right? So I've seen many patients with a trauma as well. Like patients would come with a foreign body in the eye, and you can see through this slit lamp. And many times I had so many patients, like I would remove the foreign body from the cornea or from the eyelid or from under the eyelid, that it wouldn't go away, get stuck. It could be like in my practice, it was like a piece of metal, right? So the workers don't wear the protective glasses, which is very important. Or it could be just the dust, like piece of dust, or usually it's construction worker or electrician. So that's what we see when we look with a slit lamp. We can also use the additional lens to look inside the eye, right? So it's a slit lamp plus the additional lens. That's what the doctor looks at. And so usually at this part, we previously dilate the eyes, so we can see the pupil actually bigger, and we can see the whole retina. And again, that's the optic nerve, and this is glaucoma. This is the same slide. That's where we see. And we can diagnose with this dilated exam. We can diagnose the glaucoma. We can see the whole retina. We can diagnose macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, and hypertension, and of course, all other diseases of the retina. And during this part, we can also measure the intraocular pressure. So there are two methods of measuring the intraocular pressure of the eye pressure. There is a air puff method. It's a non-contact method. It's less accurate, actually. But the most accurate one is Goldman tonometry, which was created many, many years ago. And when I learned that method, we could actually, it was very manual. We did it manually without this microscope. Like we would lie the patient on the couch and we would numb the eyes and we would put little weights on the eye and then anyway, it was done manually and we would measure it through certain, uh, measuring rulers, special rulers. So it's still called Goldman tonometry, and it's a contact, but it's done now with today's technology with a slit lamp, with additional, piece of a slit lamp, and very accurate. And you don't feel anything because of the numbing eye drops. So I have the slide for progressive multifocal lenses. It belongs to like refraction, but you can see that in the progressive lens, we have very narrow corridor through which you can see. So this slide actually, it's the advantages of progressive lens, multifocal lens, right? So you can see it's all in one lens, but disadvantages that there is a lot of distortion. So you have to look kind of like through tunnel vision, and it can create neck tension, strain, and headaches. So when I worked in optical shop, we would tell people, okay, you need 30 days to get used to it. Your nausea will go away. You're like you wouldn't be like dizzy. You have to get used to it. Just wear it for 30 days. So people had to go through this very unfortunate symptoms. So single vision lens is um, less damaging to your, all these actually body unfortunate symptoms. All right, so going back to tonometry, Goldman tonometry. So normal intraocular pressure is between 10 and 21 millimeters of mercury. And it depends how thin is your cornea. And there's a special formula, actually. So pachymetry is the method to measure the thickness of the cornea. And most of the eye doctors now measure the thickness of the cornea because they need to interpret precisely your eye pressure, right? So the thin cornea, you see this formula. The thin cornea is under 545. So about here where the zero is, it's about 545, right? So below that, the cornea is thin. Below, yes, below that, here, this way is thin. So we have to add certain numbers to just to interpret the correct pressure. And in thick cornea, we have to subtract certain numbers, and it's just a standard now formula. So you can see that this is a normal cornea in this slide, right? So there is no danger of the inaccuracy of measuring eye pressure. In the thinner cornea, the danger is misreading the eye pressure, right? Glaucoma may not be diagnosed because the eyeball is soft. And in a thick cornea, that may mean like less reason to worry about glaucoma. It's actually it will show more accurate eye pressure, intraocular eye pressure. So there is another diagnostic tool now with today's technology. It didn't exist when I was studying and practicing, but it's optical coherence tomography. It scans your eye, all layers of your eye, and now we can, eye doctors can diagnose very accurately certain conditions. And that's how the picture looks of OCT, I'm sorry, OCT. It's non-invasive, it's not at all unpleasant. So it measures actually the wavelength of infrared light. And it reflects through the structures of the eye from the retina. And yes, it can, glaucoma can be diagnosed, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy. So it's very, it's a great tool and helpful. Okay, so what else? What else you can expect? If you suspect for glaucoma, or if doctor thinks your intraocular eye pressure is a little questionable, you'll be sent to for this test, right? For the visual field test, and that's how it's the demonstration of this picture. And the reading, the interpretation, the results interpretation the printouts will look like this. So on the left side, there is a normal printout, normal picture. This is a normal how you look, so your visual field is not impaired. And on the right, it's just extreme. It's the end stage glaucoma. So it's practically like a tunnel vision. It's a tunnel vision, unfortunately. Yeah, a lot of damage done by intraocular pressure, high pressure. Okay. So when do you need to see the doctor? Well, first of all, of course, unusual symptoms. Thankfully, our eyes are very sensitive, right? And whenever you like get something into your eye, of course, it's like painful trauma, and you can't get rid of something, and it causes the tearing of your eyes, and you suspect that something got into your eye, foreign object. This is the first, of course, reason to go to the doctor, right? If you have a pain or red eye or blurry vision, headache, that could be like closed angle glaucoma, which is very, very painful, and you'll know it right away. So that's also, of course, when you go to the doctor. And if you see, for example, flashes of light or dark curtain over your visual field of vision, that could be symptoms of retinal detachment. So many people see floaters, right? Floaters in the eye, and that's pretty common. That could be very benign, non-harmful, or it could be the sign of posterior vitreous detachment. And I'll show you the slides at the next. So that could require some observation. So people wondering, do we need to do yearly exam or every 2 years? And so, of course, yearly exam is recommended to check your vision, especially if you have any complaints or concerns, or even more often if you have the family of glaucoma, diabetes, or macular degeneration. Okay. So these are the slides that I left just to show you. These are the floaters, right? So what are the floaters? That's how what we see when we look in the sky, for example, right? And that's how it looks inside the eye. That's what eye doctor sees when he looks in during exam. So as we age, what happens is the vitreous, it's like a jelly-like substance. So it liquefies, and the collagen fibers in the vitreous, they tend to clump together and get scattered shadows, and that's what we see. So as I mentioned, most of the time it's really benign. You don't have to worry about it, and you can actually, sometimes forget about it. But warning symptoms of if you notice new floaters, or if they're much bigger in size, or they change colors, they black or even red. It could be just like a fresh hemorrhage, blurry vision. That's Or if it like covers your central vision, of course, that's the reason to go to the doctor. Okay. And posterior vitreous detachment, that's how it looks like, right? So the vitreous, the jelly-like substance, it separates from the retina. That's how it is. And most of the time it just requires observation. Um, and so some risk factors include, of course, trauma, or like myopia. Really nearsighted people can be, having that. And again, symptoms are like floaters, some flashes of light can be. So this vitreous, the jelly substance, if the PVD, or posterior vitreous detachment, has a big square footage, if I can say, it can pull the retina as well. So there is a risk of retinal detachment as well. So that's why the eye doctor will tell you, okay, we need to observe that. Please come more often, and that's very normal. So observing is always good. And of course, in case of like retinal detachment, you will notice right away the like black curtain is either like part of your visual field, or like the majority. Either it could be on the top, bottom, like all quadrant, like left, right, lower, upper quadrant. It depends on the location. It can be after serious injury. It could be, of course, family history. It could be in highly myopic people. And so you're probably aware of that, and your doctor will tell you that we need to observe that. You need to be aware of that. Okay, so, and of course, certain eye diseases may cause that, eye diseases or disease of the retina. Okay, so, and the treatment, this is just a slide of treatment, and people always ask questions. How does the surgery, how is it done? Why do people sometimes like recommended to the patient, it's recommended to the patients to lie down with your head down. And that's because during surgery, the injecting air gas is pressing back the separated retina, and that's how it works. And there are different methods of the surgeries of the detached retina. And I'm sure your eye doctor will explain to you if it gets to this point. And over time, actually, this gas bubble will dissolve. Okay, so going back to general health and wellness. So we are aware that our society, the whole world, is like getting unhealthier, right? So according to CDC, and that's like from 2015, 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 5 children is obese. So our generation is not the healthiest. And this is the quote by Dr. David Katz. And still works a lot in the preventive and lifestyle medicine. So our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. And that is today's statistics, unfortunately. Okay, so in a contrast, I just want to show you that we can be healthy, and it's all in our hands. So if you've heard about blue zones, there are 5 places in the world which are discovered by this journalist, Dan Buettner, who wrote a great book, Blue Zones. 5 places in the world. It's that he researched that where people live the longest, the centenarians, they have higher rate of centenarians. And this is Okinawa, Japan, Seventh-day Adventist in Loma Linda, California, Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, and Sardinia, Italy. So 5 places. And I have to tell you that I've listened to this latest interview of Dan Buettner, who he came out with a new book. And he mentioned that Okinawa, Japan was delisted recently because of intervention of these fast food chains and companies, and population started become less healthy and more sick. So they had to delist this Okinawa, Japan from blue zones. And they are continuing their research, and they, of course, adding more blue zones. And we can create our own blue zone. So what are the commonality of these places in the world? They actually, these people, the centenarians, they not only have a long lifespan, but they have a long health span. They have a fraction of diseases. They don't wear glasses. They very few wear glasses. They have good eyesight. The family, they're more important for them. The community, the social connection. They are actually what they're eating, their diet is mostly plant-based. Yes, they do eat some animal food, but it's very little. So it's mostly plant-based. They're constantly moving. They are like physically active. They spend most time outside, right? They grow their own produce. And again, social engagement and less stress and less stressful, of course. So if many of you probably heard about this research and blue zones, but if you didn't, please look it up. And there is actually a documentary on Netflix that recent about that, which is easy to find. Okay, so in conclusion, what are the ways to stay healthy? We, of course, it's drink water. It increases the blood flow, right? This, again, to healthy circulation. Eating well, mostly plants, not too much, and actually the rule, there is a Japanese rule, hari hachibu, like stop until you 80% full. Stop when you're 80% full, right? Don't overeat. Don't go for seconds. Move more, love more, social connection, love your friends, your family, your just people, right? Stress less or we can't avoid stress, but change the response to stress. Find the ways to relax, sleep enough. And these are the resources that I recommend to everybody in my health coaching. Um, these are great books. My discovery started with this first book, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Caldwell Esselstyn. He did a great research. And yes, so I think his book helped Bill Clinton to avoid second surgery, and he became healthy. That's the official actually fact. And probably another book by Dean Ornish, and his research that helped him as well. Forks Over Knives documentary. If you have not seen it, please watch that. And that could be very, very informative. China study book and reversing diabetes and cheese trap. That's, many people have questions about that. Anyway, there are a lot of great resources. Game Changers documentary. Please let your young athletes or like mature athletes watch that. It's a great documentary. And there are more resources on my website. I have the page of resources as well. Okay. Um, and this is just a list of my social media where you can find me and besides my website. And yes, and all my activities, what I do, my classes, and health and vision coaching. And also I have a newsletter. So I'm going to stop my share and go back to Trisha.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Neil, I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of vision talks, but that was outstanding. And the people on the call in our Clear Vision Club were all remarking they're going to want to watch it again because it was so good. They're
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's
no,
the
I'm
best
glad
vision
it's
presentation
recorded.
ever. Pardon?
I'm glad it's recorded, yes, because I personally like to rewatch and yes, listen again, of course.
Yeah, that was outstanding. I learned a ton. There was a whole bunch. I kept taking notes, going, "Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that statistic. I didn't know." There were so many things that you mentioned that I was hearing for the first time, and kind of sad, like not good things, things that I didn't realize the recent statistics on things. So let me ask you this. First of all, I want to say thank you for an outstanding presentation. I feel like our audience is going to be a lot smarter as a result of this talk. How do people work with you? So you see clients for nutrition or vision, or how are people finding you, and what are they asking you for help with? Just so
Yes,
people
it's
have
a
an
health
idea of
coaching. It's health coaching.
coaching.
Yes, yes.
And you
So
work remotely?
I do work remotely. Yes, yes.
Now,
It's
are your clients mostly where? Where do you find like Americans? Are you finding Russians? Are you finding Europeans?
it's mostly yes, since I'm doing it in yes, Russian and English, but it's mostly Americans. But we lived in several countries because we move due to my husband's work, and so I've had clients in Vienna, in Turkey, in Russia, in Hungary, and yes, in Sweden. Yeah, we had it's like very international expat community, and we actually in every country we leave, the community is very multicultural.
I love that. That's really cool. And I bet you learn things all the time. Every place you move, you're learning like new cultures and new people and new
Very
ways that
cool.
they have holistic solutions for things as well. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I invite anyone in the audience feeling like they want to connect with Mila. We will have the information in the show notes below the YouTube video on the replay. And we're going to be saying goodbye to YouTube. I didn't see any questions in YouTube, so they're being kind to you, which is good. But I know we have some questions from our Clear Vision Club members. So we're going to go to our private VIP after hours with you. We won't keep you too long because I know it's really late. But I want to thank everyone again for joining us on this call. Thank you for joining Clear Vision Wednesday. And I invite you to come back next week. Every Wednesday, we have another episode on holistic vision. So we are here to support your vision improvement journey. And there'll be a smaller course starting, I think, this fall, and then another of the larger programs starting again in the springtime. So please connect with us. We are happy to help you on your vision improvement journey. So with that, I am going to say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, and you guys stay on for just a second.